Hi guys, Anthony Peluso here. Thank you so much for joining me today. So what I want to cover off today is to give you guys, the viewer, an understanding of why you should invest, not just in real estate, but invest in yourself, in your financial future. Because the only reason to invest is to give you and your family a better quality of life. It's to give you more choices. It's to give you more life. You know, at the end of the day, it's not about property. It's not about real estate. You could say that it's not even about how many properties you have. But what we all desire is more life. Life on our own terms. Life where we're not held to ransom by a job, by a clock. You know, imagine being able to get up in the morning, go to bed at night, and do whatever you want in between without hurting anyone. That would be a life of freedom. So when you're looking to invest in real estate, make sure you understand why you're doing it. We're going to cover today the reasons why you should invest in real estate, okay? And some of it may not be what you've heard. For a lot of us, it's to replace our working income. So moving from a working income, your job income, to a portfolio income. For others, it could be to reduce their tax. For others, it could be to fund their retirement. But at the end of the day, the thing that all of us want is freedom. We want the ability to have choices in life. We want more life. And that's the thing about real estate. The indicator of whether you're doing it correctly or not is simply this. Does it give me more? Does it give me more life? Or does it take away from me? And if it gives you more, that's a good indication that you're doing it correctly. Okay, so hang in there with me. We're going to cover off on many things with regards to real estate. I have no doubt that your questions will get answered in this presentation. And at the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you an opportunity to work with us here at Wealth for Life and show you how to predict your financial future for the rest of your life. Now, we usually charge around $5,000 to be able to work with people like that and take them through that process. But as a special thank you for tuning in and joining me on this presentation, we're going to offer that to you, the viewer, for free. So make sure you hang around and watch till the end. Thanks, guys. So why invest in property? Well, let me share with you the road that most people take when it comes to attempting to accumulate wealth. We go to school for 12 years. We go to work in a job, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year for the next 40 years. And we pray to God that the government looks after us when we stop working. It's a hope strategy. It's all we're taught in school. It's all that you saw your parents do and their parents do and their parents do. It's usually what most Australians do, so we all buy into it because we don't know any better. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you know anybody that's simply just worked 9 to 5 and done nothing else and retired on an income stream of $100,000 per annum for the rest of their life when they stop working? Of course not. It doesn't exist. So the statement I want to share with you is this. If all you plan to do is work 9 to 5 for the rest of your life, you are destined to struggle financially when you stop working. Okay? This is the thing that a lot of people don't understand. The penny will eventually drop for everybody, for every working Australian, but the problem is it's too late. Most people find out the information that I'm going to share with you today when they're approaching 60. And at that point in life, it does become too risky to start an investment strategy. The risks do outweigh the rewards at that point in life. So what are the ways that you can become wealthy? Number 1, win Tats Lotto. Hey, we've all tried, we've all played, very few have won. Number 2, marry into money. It hasn't worked for me, not that I tried it. If some of you guys out there are more luckier than me, go for it. Number 3, become a superstar. Nothing wrong with that. and I'm a big believer of people chasing their dreams. The three ways that most Australians create wealth are simply this. Number one, start a business, by far the fastest way to create wealth. Number two, invest in the share market. And number three, invest in the real estate market. Investing in real estate and shares stack the odds in your favor. You have a much better chance of creating wealth by looking at those two asset classes. And in fact, 90% of all millionaires have done so through investing in real estate all over the world. So if you take real estate as an asset class, the odds are stacked in your favor. Are you aware that 94% of Australians retire well below the poverty line by the time they stop working? That's right, 94% of Australians. Now ask yourself this question. Does anybody wake up in the morning and plan to fail? Of course not. We just do what we do because we don't know any better. But I will share this with you. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. You just can't go through life without planning and expect a great outcome in the end. Life doesn't work like that. Life rewards the people that plan, that put a plan in place, that have a goal in place, and follow sequential steps towards that end goal. So what are your investment options? Well, let's look at them. Number one, cash, fixed interest, term deposits, money in the bank, traditionally seen as low risk, but unfortunately very low returns. Cash in the bank is what your parents taught you to do and what their parents taught them to do, and it was all around safety and security. Keep your money in the bank because nobody can take it away from you. And whilst that may be true, the problem with that is that your money's not growing. It's not working for you. Yes, you get to sleep more comfortably at night knowing your money's in the bank. But even if you were earning 2% interest on your money, 3% interest, even 4% interest on your money, by the time you pay tax on that and take inflation into account, if you could look at your money, it's actually going backwards, okay? Meaning your money is getting less and less and less compared to the cost of living moving forward. So whilst money in the bank may make you feel safe and secure, it's not a very sound or successful investment option. Number two, shares. High risk, but very, very high returns. Now, when I say high risk, what I'm talking about is this. People simply fail to understand how shares in the stock market work, so automatically they're perceived as high risk. All that's saying is I don't have the time nor the knowledge to understand the share market, so I won't invest in it because I don't understand it, and as a result, I fear it, and therefore we have this perception that it's high risk. Are you aware that the second richest man in the world is actually a share investor? Take the time to understand the share market and the risks will go down. And that's the thing with life, right? The more knowledge we have on a subject, the more we understand it and the less risk we associate with it. There's nothing wrong with the share market. You've just got to increase your knowledge in that area. Share market has a very sound place as part of an investment strategy. Yes, the risks can be higher. The returns can actually be higher as well because the market is a lot more volatile. So shares tend to move much quicker up and down than, say, real estate. And the third option, and everyone's favorite option, the option that we're all familiar with, is property. Right now, you're either renting or you've got your own home. So you understand property, at least the fundamentals of having a roof over your head. Now, owning your own home or renting a property is a little bit different to investing in real estate. But real estate is generally seen as very low risk, considered quite safe, and the returns are very, very high if you know what you're doing. By far the asset class that's going to stack the odds in your favor of creating wealth. So let's look at the pyramid of wealth, the 3 stages of wealth creation. And this is the conversation we have with you when we work with you as a client, okay? The first question we ask you is this: why are you investing in real estate? What is it that you're looking to achieve? Because we actually try and talk you out of it unless you understand what it is you're looking to achieve. Because without understanding that, how will you know when you get there or if you fall short? So we always make sure that we set up a really good foundation that starts with that question. Why are you looking to create wealth? Why are you looking to invest in real estate? So the first stage of wealth creation is setting up a really good foundation, understanding why you're looking to invest, and putting together a really good team of people around you, okay? Because when it comes to creating wealth, it's a lot more than just investing in real estate. And this is the biggest mistake that people make. They have this view that they'll buy 1 or 2 properties and they're magically going to create wealth. It actually doesn't work like that. There's a lot more that's involved. First of all, you need to understand what's the end game look like? What's your exit strategy look like? When will you know that you've achieved your goal? Then, if you're working 9 to 5 and don't have a lot of time available, you need to have a team of experts around you that can help you get there faster. So by setting up a good foundation, I'm talking about having a really good accountant, having a really good financial planner, investment advisor, solicitor, mortgage broker, builder, depreciation specialists, a really good team of people around you, property manager, property advisor. These are people that will help get you where you want to get to much, much faster. Because if you don't, you'll have to rely on your skills, your knowledge, your expertise, and your time. So you would have heard the saying, right? If you're looking to create wealth, it's all about using other people's money, other people's brains, other people's ideas, other people's resources. So other people's money is simply going to the bank and borrowing money from them. Other people's brains, resources, skill is having a mastermind team around you. Okay? If I have a question in the area of taxation, I'm not going to sit here and try and understand everything there is with regards to taxation, but I have some of the best accountants in the country that I can contact and get my questions answered. And that's the same in the area of finance. That's the same in the area of construction. That's the same in the area of property management. So you need a really, really good team of people around you. And one of the reasons why I'm the CEO of a business and I employ staff is they help me get where I want to get to that much faster. And I urge you that if you're looking to create wealth, you need a team of people around you. So when you then start to accumulate that wealth, you've got a really rock solid foundation where your assets won't collapse. Okay? It's like building a house, okay? You've got to make sure that before you put up the frame and the bricks and the fit off and the house itself, the slab, right? The base, that the foundation is really, really strong. If not, what happens to the house? It cracks, it collapses. Now, a great wealth creation strategy is exactly the same. Have a really good foundation, number one. Make sure you cover off on your risk management strategy, your legal structures, your purchasing entities, how you're going to handle the tax, how you're going to handle things like capital gains tax, how you're going to handle finance, asset protection, tax file numbers, ABN numbers. There's so many different things that you need to take into account before you just go out and buy property. So set up a really good foundation. Phase number 2 is the accumulation stage. So this is where we start to stack the assets on top of each other, okay? We've got a really good foundation now. So now we can go out and invest in real estate, invest in shares, and we can duplicate. We are now part of a system where you can continue to invest again and again and again and again. Because the reality is this, the only reason to invest in property is so that you can continue to invest in property, okay? So you start to build your asset classes right now until you achieve your goal, the goal that was identified at the foundation stage of investing. The third stage of wealth creation is the preservation stage. So this is where we hold our position and let time do its thing. Hold on to our assets, let time do its thing, and then we get to a point in the investment strategy where we eliminate all debt, okay? We exit out. Okay. Now, this is the one thing that people have always wanted to understand. How do I become debt free? Because we've had this ingrained in us from day one that debt is bad. We don't like debt. We've got to pay off our mortgages as fast as possible. Absolutely. But there's a way to do it and there's a time to do it. Okay. You got to know when to do it and you've got to know how to do it. So once we've reached our goal, we start a debt reduction strategy where we eliminate all our debt. So what you're left with is an investment portfolio where the assets continue to appreciate in value, cash flow you the money that you need to give you that quality of life without any debt attached to it. And once your passive income or your investment portfolio income, whatever you want to call it, is greater than your working income, for a lot of people, that's the definition of freedom, where money from the choices you make today give you that quality of life and that income stream that replaces your working income. And if you've got the figure correct during the foundation stage of investing, you've got what we call freedom, financial freedom, or whatever that represents for you. So how we help you at Wealth for Life? Number one, understanding your financial goals. It's all about planning and goal setting. I know it's usually seen as the boring part because all you guys just want to get into real estate, but this is where we determine why it is that you're looking to invest in real estate, okay? What is it that you're looking to achieve? Because real estate can actually work against you if you don't know the difference between good real estate and bad real estate. You'll just go out there and invest in any real estate and hope that it gives you some sort of financial freedom in the future, okay? So the first step is really understanding what it is you're looking to achieve. Now, don't worry if you struggle to make this clear right now, because one of the things we do is when we sit down with you is just take you through a process and a set of questions where this does become clearer. And this is the beautiful part, because this is where you get to dream or, resurrect your dreams, and you start to imagine what life can look like for you in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You'll be amazed when you see some of our case studies at where some people started from and what they've actually achieved today. Because wealth creation and financial well-being, for a lot of us, we don't believe that it's possible for us. All we've been conditioned to believe is that we just need to work hard and do nothing else, okay? We've been conditioned that debt is bad, that you need money to create money, that we've missed this opportunity, that this is not for us and it's only for wealthy and rich people. That's not true. All that's missing is knowledge. There's just something that you don't know that's stopping you from achieving the life that you were designed to actually have, okay? You don't want to find out later on in life this information when it then becomes too late. Time is your most valuable asset. Use it to your advantage or it'll become your enemy, okay? So the first step is financial planning and goal setting. So the next step is laying out your financial plan for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Now, this is my favorite part of the strategy, because people now get to see what their financial future can look like. It's no longer something that's floating around in their head, but it's now real because it's in writing. It's written, you get to take it with you, and you can literally work out where you'll be financially in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. This is where you see that sparkle in people's eyes, because it's actually real and it becomes very, very achievable. And once you see it all mapped out in front of you, you understand the power of wealth creation, the power of leverage, and the power of money. And again, it's designed to do nothing more than to give you more life, more choices, and more freedom. So we map out what we call our blueprint to wealth, and we show you step by step from where you are today to where it is you want to get to, and the steps you need to take, the assets that you need to invest in, how the first property relates to the second property, how to create a predictable outcome financially. The key to investing is this: if you can't see where you're going to end up financially and you're hoping or guessing, you're probably doing it all wrong. We don't have a hope strategy here at Wealth for Life. We have a workable system with predictable results. Number 2, understanding finance, okay? This is the name of the game. It's not about real estate. It's about finance. Because if you look at real estate, it's nothing more than a tool to attract money, to attract finance, okay? Banks gave real estate this value and this level of security that they would lend against. So we use real estate as a bargaining chip to get money from the banks, put a little bit of our own in, create wealth, give the banks back their money, hold on or get rid of the real estate and live off what we've created. It's essentially, wealth creation in a nutshell. So it's all about understanding your financial structures that you have in place right now and what you need to put in place to invest. I'm talking about things like home loans, investment loans, interest rates, all sorts of products and services, not just as a one-off, but something you need to establish up front that can support you many, many years into the future. Okay, because you want to set up a finance structure that enables you to continue to invest over and over and over again. There's no point in working with a lender or a bank under a certain structure that allows you to invest on one or two properties. Because if you haven't figured it out by now, you're not going to create a lot of wealth by having one or two properties. Finance is the most important piece of the puzzle. It's not real estate. It's all about finance. Get this piece right. And this is where you need to really understand the way banks work, how they profit from you, why interest rates are probably the last thing you need to look at, and what it means to work with the right lender and the right institution, because done correctly, these banks will continue to lend you money and work with you as part of your team moving forward. So the next step is all about the assets. So this is where we show you the properties to invest in, how they're going to help you achieve your financial goal, the way that they'll appreciate, when they'll appreciate, how they'll cash flow you, how to handle your tax position, actually how to even look at paying off your home loan faster. And you're going to start to see how financial freedom becomes something that is getting closer and closer and closer to being achieved. So let's have a look at some case studies. Glenn and Pauline Moxham. Glenn came to me about 6 years ago, a referral through a friend. Now, Glenn already had an investment portfolio. He had a few properties, but he was neither getting any cash flow or any appreciation out of his portfolio. So what we did is actually restructure his portfolio, but put a plan in place to give him a predictable outcome when he was to stop working. And I'm so rapt to say right now that Glenn's 3 years away from achieving his goal. Him and Pauline will retire on a passive income of $200,000 per annum per year for the rest of their lives. All that Glenn did was sit down with us on day one and take our advice, and still take our advice till today. Now let's have a look at Luciano and Melissa. I love this case study because when I first met with Luciano and Melissa, financial freedom was not their number one priority. They lived in the northern suburbs of Melbourne, and all they wanted was a bigger home, their dream home, so their little boy Rocco could have some space or a backyard to play in. Okay? Now, financial freedom was important to them, but they grew up in a household where they had a really, really big backyard and plenty of friends over and a big family. And they felt like they couldn't provide that to their little boy. So when I met with them, their number one priority was, Anthony, get me into our dream home. Show me how we can get into our dream home with a large backyard in a good location where we can send our boy Rocco to a really, really good school. It took 4 years for us to achieve that goal. Both Melissa and Luciano are right now in a position where they've actually paid off the mortgage on their home, gone out and bought a new car, not part of the investment strategy, but we threw that in there anyway, and are now in the process of building their dream home, walking distance to an incredible school for their boy Rocco. Now, in addition to this, they'll be in a position that when they stop working, they'll retire on a passive income of $160,000 per annum for the rest of their life. Not a bad success story. The next case study is Tui Hun. Now, I've got a lot of affinity for Tui and her family because she was one of the first clients at Wealth for Life. I've personally known Tui now for 10 to 12 years, and I've been able to help, or our company's been able to help, not just her, but her sister, her brothers, and most of her family create wealth. Now, if you have a look, Tui, when she first started at Wealth for Life, wasn't on a very, very big income. And she didn't think that wealth was for her because, like most Australians, this is not something that we're taught about when growing up and when going to school. You know, financial freedom, wealth creation isn't a subject I took when I went to school. I don't know about you guys, but it wasn't available for me. But Tui came and saw us, and like every other successful investor, just followed the steps that we put in place, worked the system that we put her in, and she's going to be in a position where she'll retire on $150,000 a year for the rest of her life when she stops working. Now, I just want to make that clear. This isn't a $150,000 one-off. Every year, $150,000 will go into her bank account as a result of the decisions that she made today and when she first met us. So this brings us to the end of our presentation, and thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys got something out of this. If you'd like to take advantage of an opportunity, sit down with us and work out whether this is something for you, hit us up at wealthforlife.com.au and get in touch with one of our advisors and take advantage of the offer where we can sit down with you and help you work out how to predict your financial future for the rest of your life. Now, this is all about putting a plan in place, okay? So you understand what life can look like for you financially. And the thing is, you're never going to know unless you look, unless you take that step. You know, we normally charge $5,000 for this service. Most organizations out there will charge, $8,000 to $9,000 to put a plan like this in place. Take advantage of the experience, take advantage of the 20 years that I've been working in the real estate investment space, in the wealth creation space. Don't go out there and make the mistakes that I made when I first started. See, the thing is, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a company like Wealth for Life that was there for me when I got started. So most of my journey was trial and error. And yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. I bought the wrong property. I worked with the wrong people. I chose the wrong people. You don't need to make those mistakes because there's a right way of doing things and there's a wrong way of doing things. Thanks again for your time, guys. And my team and I really look forward to being able to help you. Take care.